Welcome back. I just thought I'd record this because I thought it was interesting. So, my last video, I talked about the Black Panther, the Seminole Black Panther, as it pertains to the Seminole legends of the Seminole Native Americans, Seminole tribe. This that I talked about. So, I talked about this. And then I noticed that it's the last episode of Underground Science, brought to you by moi. Even though it's a Black Panther in the story here, specifically told the Panther. Maybe it's not black. Oh, maybe it never says black. I guess I thought it was black. Panther. Okay, pardon me. Maybe I should not have. Also, Black Panther is a jaguar. Or something else. Leopard. So it's not even a thing, really. Like it's specifically a jaguar or a leopard that is black. That is a Black Panther. But it's not necessarily either of them. They're just pretty much one of these that's black, which is jaguars and leopards. Okay, so anyway. So I named the last one Pink Panther for lols, kind of. Pardon me, Jordan. Maybe you're onto something. Okay. And then I was like, wait a minute. I looked over at Google Earth. You just saw it, but we're gonna. And I was like, is it possible Australia looks like a top hat? Because that would be hilarious. And I looked, and I was like, sure enough, from this angle, it's got like the base with the two sides protruding out. And then maybe not the best top hat, but like if you envision like it going up to here and then having a top here, then it's pretty good. I don't know. We're going all the way up, but also it has this here that I drew here, a line across. So he's wearing a top hat. I thought it was funny. I thought this is a little off. I didn't bother to fix the picture. Okay. So then I did a Google search. I was like, are there any Black Panthers found on islands? I Googled this. I started looking at this to just see China, Burma, Assam, and Nepal. Where is Burma? I think it's like over here. Okay, close enough. And then what was the other one? Nepal up here-ish. And Assam. India, I guess pretty much here. So pretty much found in this region. Which is interesting that they're found at the feet of the bird. I don't know. They're not found in the islands over. I would have found it fascinating if like New Zealand had a bunch of Black Panthers. Maybe I should Google New Zealand Panthers. So when I Google that, New Zealand Panthers, what I ended up finding, Polynesian Panthers, comes up, which is what I was gonna basically record about. I thought it was kind of interesting. Polynesian. So if we say, where's Polynesia? New Zealand, I mean, it doesn't technically include Melanesia here, which the cat does. Like, this is Polynesia down here, this region, pretty much, based on this map, in terms of the portion that is of the cats and beyond, too. Stretching to Hawaii, so it's, at that point, it's just including a bunch of things. But it may be that all of these are Polynesia as well, and these are just like components of it. It doesn't look like they're actually considered part of Polynesia. That's interesting. It's also interesting, it's kind of like an arrow. Because there's arrows that occur when a current flows. There is a current flow this way from basically through Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands here, so this way. That does generally go to here and then produces a vortex, a figure-8 spiral in the current flowing this way, and this current all interacting. Anyway, it's certainly that doesn't directly interact with Hawaii, and because of things regarding how Hawaii formed, but it looks like it's included. Okay, so I found that interesting enough to just like hit record and be like, the black pink panther of Polynesia et al., I guess, has a connection, like, unrelated to a revolutionary social justice movement formed to target racial inequalities carried out against indigenous Maori and Pacific Islanders in New Zealand, which is part of, like, specifically New Zealand, part of the cat structure, the panther structure. The main part, really, if any of the, like, locations within the panther were to have, like, a large amount of people, a large enough population to begin to really experience, like, a spread and distribution and lifestyle where people are oppressed under racial inequalities, then, not to say that's inherent, but just like more likely in those instances. So 1971, and then it ended in 83 or something, movement. Pretty much based off of, from what I was reading, operated to bring awareness and combat exploitative social relations of Pacifica people, which is Pacific Islanders, which really is the whole of the cat at that point, including redlining. I'm not sure what that is. Services are withheld from potential customers who reside in neighborhoods classified as hazardous to investment. I see. Racial profiling, disproportionate incarceration, and segregation in sports. So I guess that was just going on then at the time. Rugby union. So I guess this one is specific to rugby union and apartheid in New Zealand. Specific to the sport. So basically, it was founded also as a response to the Black Panther movement, and as sort of like a, oh yeah, that's a good idea. As part of the efforts to restore prosperity, organize a prison visit program mimicking that of the Black Panther Party. So if I search for Black Panther, explicitly influenced by the American Black Panther Party. There it is. So there's even like a Black Panther aspect, a social injustice revolution aspect. Notably, a Pacific Islander movement for racial injustice. So it's not specifically the same as like a Black Panther movement in the United States. It's just a racial injustice or just social injustice, because at some point, which kind of brings to mind, I was scrolling and I saw Jordan Peterson posted this. And it's a cartoon where they're basically the father, this, I assume this is a father, is talking to I assume another father of two children who are characters in this show. I know I've never seen this show enough to react, but like he's basically he brings up the term white fragility, and then like acts like it's like something everyone knows, and he's just ignorant intentionally of it. And then he literally gives him a book, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism. Maybe for reasons like this, honestly. Because it's like genuinely met with offense for white people to point out the flaws in what's happening. So, like, this then literally isn't a children's show where children are therefore being taught that there is truly a imbalance in the world that leads to children just acting out and behaving like, how dare you, how could you, with basically with white people. Like it's really an attack on white people to have this exist in the world. Like, this is fucked up. Teaching children, and look at he's like, I won't look, I won't see it, I won't understand the thing. I know. He's like really well drawn. Like, I know what you're showing me is right, but I won't see it. Like, he's really well drawn and behaving that way, but it's like not. It's all fucking bullshit. And also, as all these comments really point, unfortunately, interestingly, it became a lot of comments about like just canceling their subscription. But like, someone pointed out, one of the comments brought up I don't know if I still have it, a South Park episode. I've read the Wikipedia about it, and it was The Big Fix, 25th season. So I certainly have not seen this because it's from 2022. I haven't seen South Park in probably approaching a decade. Like, I certainly not. I have seen full seasons probably, but it's been like years, and maybe not any episodes in approaching a decade. I don't know. So I've certainly not seen this. Cannabis farmer Randy Marsh attends a cannabis exposition where he learns that some people are boycotting cannabis farms that are not employing people of color. Randy speaks with his wife Sharon and their children, Shelly and Stan, about their lack of interaction with black people, in particular, the fact that Stan never plays solely with his black classmate, Token Black. Stan invites Token and his parents, Steve and Linda Black, Their name's Black. It's good that they like literally just poke fun at the thing going on where there is this like barrier, this disconnect and like interaction, or then people like literally see the like imbalance and they're, oh, to correct this imbalance, I will purposely like go out of my way to start to like do this thing and interact. I don't find that very like it doesn't it's almost like selfish and like that's to me I really struggle to interact with anyone. And when people are black or whatever, whatever guys. When people are a different skin color than me, I just am less likely to feel like I can interact with them because I feel like it's like wrong of me to try to like mend that. Like it almost feels like it's like too far, like it's fake to like try to like force this thing. Like it's not healed. Like we have to heal our relationships as a people by actually bringing balance. Like all this bullshit where we just like spew racial injustice and blame like broad strokes of people. Even though I said something about with the term Jews, not with the term, someone was saying, look at what Joe Rogan said about Jews and the backlash he's getting about how they like money. And I just responded something, maybe that's kind of more likes than most of my posts, and maybe I don't like that because it's a little rude. I said just wait until he finds out what else they've done. That's what it was. They've done. Like it was a too broad stroke because it's not it's not even necessarily actual people who believe themselves to be Jews. Certainly there are people who at least portray or believe themselves to be Jews participating in the things that I was referring to, but like it's way deeper than that, and it's certainly not something that it's so like easily placed in that location of descriptor of who. Although it's not wrong, it's complicated. Like someone is forcing a nation into the middle of the Middle East without even knowing in truth that it's the actual location of ancient Israel, just pretending like it was. And they want to fulfill Bible prophecy. So they basically did it. They just did it. They're like prophecy fulfilled. Prophecy fulfilled. There it is. There's Israel. See it now? There it is. I said there it is. I said there it is. I said there it is. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Terrorists. Terrorists. Oh, this motherfucker fight back. Whole family's terrorists. Bulldoze their house. Here's your notice. Get out. Yeah, that kind of thing. Like, oh my god. And then settlers move in. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Those are Jews though. Like they're participating in it. They don't. That's the thing, is they don't need to know what they're doing. All they need to know is that's where like the world tells them to be, and that like fills the space, because that's what they're literally are being used for, is occupiers of the space. Like the the powers that be that are forcing Israel into existence couldn't maintain the existence of a country without people there. So they need Jews. They just need people who are Jews according to like what we say presently colloquially call a Jew, which is someone who practices Judaism in essence. And other things, part of me, I know I'm a goy. A word that I never heard, but then heard many times in Israel. Many times. Goyim. Any of the Gentile peoples. Goy. Non-Jew. Anyone else. So there's this like literal term for others than us within the just standard language used in Israel. So there's that going on for sure in Israel because it's very religious. Like the people there, they're not just like casual Jews who are like scientists that are from like United States, went to college, they didn't practice, and then they were like, I gotta go to the Holy Land, and I'm gonna go and go. It's more so people that are towards the religious side, they like feel that's what they're meant to be doing truly in enough of a way where they do it. And the world sets up the like, here's the reasons that so then they come on in by busload, and then they sneak in at the right time and occupy the space, knowing that like some things are going on. It's just, as one of the documentaries I watched on Israel said, that she was the head of settling, like deciding what the settling, where will be settled in Israel by the next like location that they demolish and build a settlement. And she said this land was promised to the Jews by God. She didn't give no fucks about anything else, dude. It was that simple to her. Even though it's not even Israel, dudes. See, that's what happens. She doesn't know that, though. She doesn't know that. If she knew that, she wouldn't be like, this land. She'd be like, some other land actually is promised to the Jews by God, not this one. Not here. Sorry, guys. Apologies. But she doesn't know that, so she's like convinced like there's Jerusalem because there's the Western Wall, even though it's a Roman fort. Jesus walked here. Are you sure? None of them know, except for those who do know. That's the thing, is some people do know. And that's the sad truth, is there's people who do know. And they're like, you know what? I know that we're just lying, and then this is not Israel. I don't give a shit. It's Israel. Keep telling them it's Israel. Put it in their books. Teach them it from youth. Teach them that. Teach them. Make sure they know that the Holocaust was the worst thing that ever happened. Just make sure they know that. Can you do that? Can you make sure they know that? There's other genocides that have occurred that are worse than the Holocaust. I don't know of them. Isn't that odd that I really like the Holocaust? Obviously, there are many Holocausts. It's kind of like the beginning. You know, you read the Bible, you look at it, you're like, the in the beginning. Like, why is there like? Are we sure about that? Like, are we sure about that? Because if you look at the text, it really Bereshit. It only says in beginning. If we look at the actual meaning, I don't know how to find it because I can't read this. I might be playing poker. A free roll for 50 cents if I get the top 50 out of like 900 is pretty solid. But this word, the Jewish language in its infancy, when the Torah is originating from, did not have the as a word. So it just says in beginning. That's all it says. It doesn't say in the beginning. We added the to it. Ooh, I got kings now. I'm gonna have to bet pot here. Oh, I didn't even bet. I just checked. Okay, guys. Ace Jack is making me play. I do not like Ace Jack, especially offsuit. I'll limp in from small. Even though I probably could have raised. I just don't like that hand. I don't know, guys. What do you guys do on Ace Jack suit, offsuit? A lot of times I just fold it. It didn't hit. It's not gonna hit. I could bet pot and pretend I hit some shit. Worst, like if someone calls and I hit it, then I'm probably ahead still. That dude folded. That dude's gonna think because I was small that I probably at least hit something. So if he doesn't have something, I'm probably gonna get a fold. Just damn. Maybe, oh damn, maybe hit a set. He's just playing. People play with me sometimes. They play with their meal, you know. They make it like I'm like maybe winning this, even though he's crushing me with pocket tens. Hit a set. Oh, okay, we good. Pardon the interruption. I'll just let that go and not look at it. Here, I minimized it. It's a tournament, so I can kind of linger for a second. Yeah, so in the beginning. Okay, so it kind of is like this, though, with the Holocaust. Like, there are many Holocausts, first of all. Secondly, there's, like, actual evidence that locations that are said to be gas chambers have no, like, gas, like, effects in the brick of the building. There's a lot of doors that open outward. I'm not saying that people didn't die. I'm just saying the narrative is questionable. And then when there is this forced insistence on it being the anything, like in the beginning, it doesn't make sense. The Great Depression. Yeah, about that one, dudes. And then, the Holocaust, like, there's a reason, and it's because the narrative is being steered. Because people want people to have sympathy. Not to say that you shouldn't have sympathy, and of course not, but have sympathy for a reason, like, so that they, like, agree with a specific action that otherwise wouldn't be agreed with. So essentially, bringing sufficient. Why is that a thing? Just noticing what's trending. Yeah. this though is very reminiscent of the Holocaust, where it's a forced like ideology being inserted at a young age that everyone then just believes mindlessly, because that's what the education system just literally lied to their fucking faces about, even though, just like that woman who this land was promised to the Jews by God, doesn't know that this land is not the land that she's talking about, is not the land that was talking about, and so it's not actually accurate to apply that. If she knew that, she wouldn't. Same thing, we don't know that this shit is not accurate to apply. And so people, like, it gets inserted into a young, susceptible mind. The Titanic, all, like, so many things, not to bring the Titanic up like it's huge or anything, but it is kind of like Federal Reserve relationship. Yeah, dudes, that wouldn't exist. As at least it would have been delayed until some further notice, and then some fucking tyrannical dictator hiding behind the scenes, imposing like a system on the world that's not in the best interest of the people, but is to basically persuade them to feed energy into just this like world that the people in control of it get to just like bask in the glory of. And so that's why they really are doing it, is just they're riding the wave. They're just riding the wave, but they're just like it's kind of like how companies used to make products that lasted, and then they realized, shit, no one's buying our product anymore, so let's make useless pieces of actual trash that will break down within a desirable time frame that we will continue to truncate, and then sell it to the public so that we can make sales, instead of being like, fucking maybe we should like reach a point where we don't need to work like that. Like, and now we're fucking on the hamster wheel now, forcing people to go make these trash, whatever it is, cars, anything, any refrigerators, like appliances, anything that's trash intentionally, like phones that have like like Tesla is a good example, where they literally sell you a package to increase your available battery power draw, but like, dude, that's built into your fucking product, and you literally by software design reduce the capacity to make people pay more. Like, that business model is a fucking sham. Don't do it. That's what we're falling for, that shit. Israel included. Okay, guys. So that's my thoughts. I hope the Black Panther cap here, the Pink Panther cap, can really show that it's time for some revolutionary changes in this world. Fuck the system. Peace.